Hey guys, and welcome to Factorio Friday Facts discussion number 250, Dead in Conclusion, and I'm joined again by Scarhoof.
Hello, everyone.
You,
250.
250, man. It's 250 weeks.
A quarter thousand.
Quarter of 1,000 weeks. That's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
That is a lot. So, first off, they're going to talk about the mod portal, which is pretty cool. Pretty much, mod deprecation. That's what that word is, right? Okay.
Yeah. No, depreciation.
Depreciation. That's what I thought it was. And then, for some reason, I thought it wasn't. But
No. Actually, no, I think you're right. Deprecation.
Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, because there, would be, an I in there or something.
Yeah, we're missing the I.
Okay, deprecation. So, a modder can mark a mod as deprecated, which indicates they're no longer updating or maintaining it. The typical case is a mod will add something relevant for the current version of the game, e.g. a mod to scan the player's starting area, and then an update to the base game makes the mod obsolete. Just deleting the mod could potentially cause problems for people playing an older version. People might ask what has happened, etc. So marking it is deprecated will keep the mod up on the portal, but it will be hidden from any public searches. This way, people downloading using the sync mods with save feature can keep playing, while new players won't stumble upon a mod that's no longer up to date and, have to ask questions and try to figure out what's going on, which is really nice.
That is interesting, though. So, if you ever want to go back and play, an older version, you wouldn't be able to find those mods.
Right. I mean, unless you already had it installed. And
you would have to have it already.
Yeah. So then, collaborators... pretty much this summarizes the mod authors can add a collaborator here, which will allow that collaborator to, change and update the mod instead of having to upload their own separate version, which is how it is now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this will be nice.
Right. And then there's also the option, they say you might also spot the other feature, transferring mod ownership. So this means that, if a mod author stops wanting to work on the mod, they can just transfer ownership to somebody else who, may be helping them or interested, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, discussions notice. The mod author can, put a notice up at the top of the discussions area, with any useful information as they show here, where you should post bug reports, or if they, fix something major that people are still complaining about, they can let them know, and stuff like that. So just some really nice kind of quality of life informational stuff for mods.
Yeah, I like that.
And then they say, if you have any other ideas for an improvement to the mod portal, please let us know on our mod portal discussion subforum. Now,
that was the easy one, right?
Now, deep breath. Blueprints, Proposal 0 by Twinson. So he feels that none of the propositions in previous Friday Facts were really that great. We spent some more time thinking about the blueprints and blueprint library while going through the player feedback, and we're now agreeing that what I like to call Proposal 0, because it was the first idea and the first mock-up I ever made related to this subject. Put simply, the blueprint stays items and the blueprint library becomes a regular inventory like a chest that is, of course, accessible across all your saves. The idea goes together well with the quick bars and action bar idea, explaining the other Friday Facts. The details and mockups for the action bar are taking shape, so expect more about it in a future Friday Facts. When working on GUIs, I like to create design documents where I try to explain how something works as objectively and as complete as possible. It usually ends up sounding like a boring legal document, but helps me think of all the corner cases and possibly find problems. So we're not going to read every single thing on here. I know a lot of people watch the videos instead of reading the Friday Facts. But if you really want to read every single bullet point here, I'm afraid you're going to have to come here and read it, because it would take a really long time.
Yeah, and like he says, it does kind of sound like a boring legal document.
Yeah, so if you want to see every single one of these bullet points, you could, I guess, pause the video or just go to the Friday Facts. We will cover the ones we find most important, though. So pretty much, one thing I do want to just read as the first one, just so people know what they're talking about, is a blueprinting tool is essentially just going to be a blueprint now. The blueprint is going to turn into a blueprinting tool. But we'll start with this third one. So basically how the library works. One window with one grid of large or small spaces. The grid expands infinitely on a row-by-row basis if any item is placed in any slot of the last row, a new row is added. This grid acts almost identical as a chest. Items can be manually moved there or fast transferred using any of the shortcuts that work for normal inventories. See comment below somewhere. This inventory grid can only hold blueprints, books, or deconstruction planners. Well, this next one is actually good to mention.
Yeah, I was going to say we should bring up the special behavior.
So when picking up a blueprinting tool from the library, it is replaced with a hand. This means that when pressing Q to drop it, it is not returned to the player inventory. Instead, back to that slot in the blueprint library. This is so blueprints can easily be used directly from the library, which is so nice.
And I do like that they don't automatically fill in that spot, and it doesn't automatically jump to the end. That it kind of reserves that spot for them to go back into. I like that. Yeah,
it's really nice. This whole part is really great. Actually, I promise we're not going to read these, but this one's really important as well. Because this may affect people. Is the functionality of automatic blueprint library sharing in multiplayer is removed. I'm actually really happy about that. Yeah, I remember when you and I were our last recording together. It was my inventory was constantly getting filled up with all of your blueprints. Yeah, it can be a problem.
And I would delete them. Yeah, I would delete them, and the next week we would record, then they all jump back in. So I like that.
The shared blueprint panel is removed. Blueprints and blueprint books in the multiplayer will be shared by manually trading the items by linking them in the chat. Blueprints or books linked in the chat can be clicked to pick up a copy that can be used as a normal item. While I think
I like that feature.
This is cool. One issue though is that I'm trying to think how, like, in multiplayer games where not everyone would be in voice chat, the chat can move really quickly. So it could become extremely difficult and frustrating to actually click a link like the people are trying to post, or if like 3 different people like post links to stuff at the same time, and then people are talking, like it's going to be nearly impossible to actually click the blueprint you want. So that is one issue I see with it. One thing would be being able to have this chat scrollable, which is something I think has been needed like forever. Because you can't scroll in the chat, all you can see is just the last like 15 or 20 messages, and that's it. That's all you get. So that would help the issue, I think, a lot. If you could scroll, and like when you scroll up to like a certain point, that it like freezes it there. Because I know some chats like it's so frustrating where you'll scroll up and then every time someone leaves a message, it jumps back down.
It bounces to the bottom.
So annoying.
Yeah, as long as we can scroll up, and hopefully they'll address that as they're going through and tweaking the GUI.
Yeah. So I think we're just going to move down.
Yeah.
There apparently are 2 new buttons with the editing interface, though, which could be important. So assign new contents to this blueprint. This is helpful when you want to update a blueprint and leave it in the same place in the player inventory, blueprint library, or action bar. Pretty cool. Or you can duplicate it, create a new blueprint with a different unique identifier but the same contents, and place it in the player cursor. This can be useful when players want to take a copy of a blueprint from the library to edit, experiment with, or whatever. So moving on down. Okay, I guess we'll just go down. So pretty much we'll start with, where did you say? The blueprint books is what we wanted to cover down here?
Yeah, or the quick copy pasting.
Okay, well, let's, I'll go to the second point about blueprint books. Blueprint books will have the same sparse grid where you can arrange the contents as you like. Shift mouse wheel will move to the next previous non-empty slot, which, as we discussed last time, I think this is still like not the best way to do it, because like we talked about this last Friday Facts, is it can get really annoying like trying to scroll through a blueprint book you have, especially if it has like 30 blueprints or something, and then like it scrolls like a different direction and you miss stuff, and then it's really annoying. I can't really think of a better way to do it. But I don't know.
I think it's fine. It's good enough, right? Good enough. If I know, like I said, I usually just use the blueprint book for storage, just to reduce the clutter in my inventory. And I usually open it up, grab the one I want, put it in my inventory, use it, and I'll just put it back into the book. So it's good enough. It could be improved, but maybe it's not worth trying to figure out how to do something like that.
So blueprint books will not have any special behavior interactions while in the library. Right-clicking them will open the book in a separate window, possibly closing the library. Clicking them will pick them up to the cursor. Blueprint tools are created using buttons in the library. The import string will be there too. So quick copy pasting will be done using new copy paste functions that work almost identical to blueprints. Pressing Control-C will place a copy tool similar to a blueprint in the cursor. You can use a select a number into these copy. Pressing Control-V will place a quick paste tool on the cursor similar to the blueprint with items. You can use this to place as many copies of the things you copied as you like.
This is basically what I suggested last week, right? I suggested like a yellow blueprint, which is just very temporary, like grab something and use it really fast, and then it's easily to discard. This is perfect. I love it.
Yeah, this is awesome. Really, really nice. The quick copy and paste tools are not items. Pressing Q will simply clear the cursor and not return anything to the inventory. The quick copy,
which is fine.
Totally fine. The quick copy and quick paste buttons will also be shown in the main GUI next to the action bar. Hovering over the paste button will show a tooltip of the blueprint that is currently in the clipboard. This is really nice.
That way, in case you forgot which one was in there or something. Of course, how many people are going to say, well, can we have like 4 or 5 in the clipboard?
Yeah, I know, right? This one, though, in other is pretty interesting. So the blueprint editor GUI should allow you to zoom and pan around to better inspect it, which I think is something it definitely lacks now. Because, like, if you have a bigger blueprint, you can't see, like, what the hell's going on in it when you go to edit it, like, in the edit thing. You can add buildings while holding an item or ghost item from the action bar, which is also something you can't do now, which I've really wanted.
Yeah, I really like that feature.
Yeah. For convenience, a small interface will give you the possibility to place any ghost item in the cursor. This is intended for quick corrections. Things like connecting cables or changing entity settings will not be possible for bigger changes using the reassign button. Okay. The blueprint library button will be disabled until bots are researched or until any item is added to the library for the first time. This means less GUIs for new players to get lost in, also less of an invitation to use the controversial string import. So I'm a little confused. Like, it says the blueprint library button will be disabled until you get bots or until you add a thing to the library, but like, how do you add a thing to the library if there's no button?
Yeah, that's true. Well, it could be a maybe like a custom scenario where you get to like you fight through some biters, you get to a chest, and the chest has a bunch of blueprints in it.
Right.
And once you add them to your inventory, then poof, it pops up because now there's a even maybe if you don't have the research, so you can't create new blueprints, but at least you can use the ones that the scenario gave you or something.
Right. Now, one thing I was looking at the Reddit discussion for this, there were some concerns. I'm hoping that this just means like the button will show up after you research bots, like just period, like the first time you're playing ever, like because if it could be a huge problem if the button is hidden every single game, like every single instance you play, because like blueprints are used, like people like to use them for more than actually placing blueprints. Like they're great for measuring things or for like showing people stuff. And it's like, if every single new game you start, the button isn't unlocked until you get bots, that's actually going to be really frustrating.
Oh, that's true, because it used to be locked, and then they gave us the ability to access blueprints from the get-go, and that was actually really nice.
Yeah. So people are saying that they're interpreting this as meaning that just like it's locked until the first time you research bots, just ever. So like basically just for new players, it would be. Like, once you've researched bots, it'll be unlocked just forever in all the games you play.
Or what it might be is if you have to actually go into your library and grab out some blueprints from like your saved profile, and then that will show up.
Okay, that's possible
or something.
too.
So if you start a brand new thing and you just want to grab a blueprint from your previous save, then you'll get them, and the button just won't be there until it shows up or something. I don't know. We'll have to see that it actually being used.
Right. Okay, so that's pretty much it for that. And then he creates a very crude MS Paint mock-up of change GUI. So,
hey, it's better than I could draw.
Same here. So you have your inventory, and then blueprint library, import, new book, new blueprint, new decom planner. So pretty much it just opens like alongside your inventory is kind of what I'm gathering from this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like it'll just be another tab on the right-hand side.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to hop on the complaint bus, and something I've seen a lot of people complaining about, and I'm not hopping on just to be part of the crew. I also do have a problem with this, that I think representing blueprints, especially blueprint books, well, either one, actually, probably more blueprints, by just an icon is very inadequate. Now, of course, you can name them, and I think when you mouse over them, the name pops up. But,
But you still have to mouse over them to see the name.
Yeah, having something like a blueprint that may have, multiple things in it or be, very similar to, say, 10 other blueprints, have those represented by just, one, an icon, I think is really, really inadequate. Someone posted on the Reddit, and it was, super highly upvoted, so, the community really supports it. Of a very crude mock-up this other person did, where pretty much their suggestion was to have it be pretty much just a file system, like a Windows or Mac Explorer or whatever when you're looking for files, where it's just you can just have titles like main and
folders,
then a sub
files.
Folder that's Rails, and then in there the blueprint, instead of just an icon, it's actually 4-lane rail in the names, just right there. And such. I think that would be way better. Obviously you can't really, in this grid system, you can't really have the name displayed unless you mouse over it. And stuff. So then you come back to the issue, it's well, yeah, so then you have to do it based on the icon and mouse over however many blueprints to find the one you actually want. Because I definitely have that issue where and you only get, what is it, 4 item pictures to use in the whole icon, I think. So yeah. It's if you have multiple variations of a build, or I don't know. I feel for people who use a ton of blueprints, it's really not a very good way to represent it.
Yeah, it can definitely get difficult. What if the top level blueprint library was all just books? And you could open up a book and then go in that way. But still, I still get what you're saying, though, is once you've opened up a book, they might all be Rails inside of there, but then you still have to mouse over them to figure out which one you need.
Right. Rails are a perfect example of when it's, super inadequate, right?
Yeah, because you have, 90 different Rail, combinations.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Turns and Y junctions and all that. And, you can't represent that with icons. You know, so it's, really, really difficult to figure out what the heck you're looking for. But that's my complaint. So pretty much, he says, I use all this design document mockup to represent the idea to other devs, make some changes, and if we all mostly agree with it, all this goes to Albert so he can more thoroughly design the look or range of the GUI elements. There's usually a lot of back and forth between us, so we can properly tie the UI and the UX together. After the mockup is finished, one of the programmers, usually Oxy, Dominic, or I, start putting it in the game with the help of Covrex, who makes sure the GUI has all the new functionality we need in the back end. After we had the interaction in the game, we are able to play with it. There is, of course, further tweaking. The process I wrote about is ideal case. In reality, every different part of the UI is done slightly differently, especially since we are still at the beginning and we are still trying to figure out all the concepts. But hopefully it'll present a better GUI. So that's proposition. I mean, I think it's a pretty decent compromise.
Yeah, I think overall, this incorporates a lot of everything I was wanting. I personally like the items staying as items. I thought that was handy, so you could leave them in chests around your base, things like that. I like that idea. The copy pasting is brilliant. It's perfect. It's not exactly how I had envisioned it, but it accomplishes the same sort of thing. Just having some sort of a temporary kind of a thing, being able to edit and add things, especially to an already done blueprint, is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Maybe you grabbed it all, but then you missed a piece of rail at the very bottom or something like that. Being able to just throw that in rather than having to redo the whole thing would be really handy.
Yeah, this will be super nice.
Yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with it. The UI, again, we have to kind of see how the UI actually comes out. We'll see, and hopefully they'll listen to the community. If it gets enough upvotes, hopefully they'll pay attention to it. I mean, they definitely have in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll turn out decent. Adds a couple more months to 0.17, but
that was the other thing I was thinking. Like they say they're at the beginning of the GUI redesign, so yeah, we're
so much for that coming out this year, even though they really, really meant it. I mean, yeah.
Well, they still have 6 months. We'll see.
Well, I mean, 17 may come out this year if we're lucky.
Yeah,
but oh well, if it takes, never mind. All right, so. I think that's pretty much it.
Yep.
All right.
Sounds pretty good. Can't wait to see how this all actually turns out.
For sure. Me too. Anyway, that's going to do it, guys. Leave your thoughts down below. Always some really interesting ideas. And until next time, we will catch you later.